First contact and discovery. The Valtharian exploration vessel, Celestial Pathfinder, glided silently through the void, its crystalline hull reflecting the distant starlight like a jewel among the darkness. Captain Zara Vex stood at the command center, her four arms operating multiple control interfaces, while her primary eyes scanned the forward view screen. The secondary set of eyes on her elongated forehead monitored the ship's internal systems. "We're approaching the outer boundary of the Nexus Quadrant, Captain," announced First Officer Krell, his scaled skin shifting colors from blue to a deep purple, a sign of excitement among the Valtharian species. "Sensors are detecting an anomaly approximately 2 light-years from our current position." Zara's interest peaked immediately. The Valtharian Consortium had been exploring this sector for decades, charting every star, planet, and spatial anomaly with meticulous precision. Finding something new was increasingly rare. "Define anomaly." "First Officer," she commanded, her voice resonating with the natural harmonic undertones of her species. Krell manipulated the sensor array, enhancing the readings. "It appears to be a planet, Captain. Class M, approximately 1.2 times the size of our homeworld." "But—" He paused, confusion evident in his color-shifting skin. "Speak freely, Krell." "It's not on any of our star charts, Captain. According to our records, there should be nothing but empty space in that location." Zara felt a chill run through her exoskeleton. The Valtharian Consortium prided itself on its comprehensive star charts, the result of centuries of exploration. A planet-sized object simply couldn't be missing from their records unless— "Set course for the anomaly. Full scan protocols. Alert the Science Division." The Celestial Pathfinder changed course, its quantum drives humming with energy as it approached the mysterious planet. As they drew closer, the full magnificence of the world came into view, a blue-green sphere with swirling white clouds, reminiscent of countless life-bearing worlds throughout the galaxy. Science Officer Tella joined them on the bridge, her slender form hovering slightly above the deck, a trait of her low-gravity evolutionary background. "Captain, I'm detecting artificial energy signatures from the planet's surface. They're faint but unmistakable." "Life signs?" Zara inquired. "None that our sensors can detect, but—" Tella hesitated. "The energy patterns are unlike anything in our database. They appear to be both incredibly advanced and extremely old." Zara made her decision quickly. "Prepare an expedition team. We'll make landfall and investigate these energy signatures ourselves." Within hours, a shuttle descended through the planet's atmosphere, carrying Zara, Krell, Tella, and a team of security and scientific personnel. The landing was smooth, settling onto a vast plain surrounded by distant mountain ranges. The air was breathable, the gravity comfortable, and the temperature mild, perfect conditions for a wide range of life forms. Yet there was no visible sign of the civilization their sensors had detected. "The energy signatures are stronger now," Tella reported, studying her portable scanner. "They appear to be coming from beneath the surface, approximately 2 kilometers in that direction." She pointed toward a series of low hills in the distance. The expedition team made their way across the plain, the twin suns of this system casting their shadows long across the grass-like vegetation. As they approached the hills, Krell noticed something unusual about their formation. "These aren't natural formations," he observed, running a hand along the smooth contour of the nearest hill. "They're too symmetrical, too perfect." Tella's scanner beeped insistently. "The energy signature is directly beneath us, and I'm detecting a hollow space extending deep underground." After a thorough scan of the area, they discovered a nearly invisible seam running along the base of the largest hill. It took their combined efforts and technology to identify what appeared to be an entrance mechanism, a sophisticated lock that responded to no known Valtharian access codes. It was Security Chief Morven who inadvertently activated it. His 6-fingered hand brushed against a particular pattern in the rock, and suddenly the ground beneath them hummed with power. A section of the hillside slid silently open, revealing a dark passage that descended deep into the earth. Incredible, breathed Tella, her scanner working overtime to analyze the technology. This entrance mechanism appears to be designed to recognize specific genetic markers. It must have detected something in Morden's genetic structure that triggered the opening sequence. The team exchanged uncertain glances before Zora made the decision. We proceed with caution. Full defensive protocols, but weapons set to non-lethal. We are explorers, not conquerors. The passage led them deep underground, illuminated by lights that activated automatically as they advanced. The architecture was unlike anything they had encountered before. Sleek, functional, yet with an elegance that spoke of highly advanced aesthetic sensibilities. These constructions must be thousands of years old, Tella observed, yet they appear to be in perfect condition. Some form of stasis technology must be preserving them. After descending for nearly an hour, they emerged into a vast chamber that stretched beyond the range of their vision. The ceiling soared hundreds of meters above them, illuminated by artificial light that mimicked natural sunlight, and spread throughout the chamber were thousands of transparent pods, each containing what appeared to be a sleeping humanoid figure. "By the 7 moons," whispered Krell, his skin paling to a shocked white. "It's a preservation facility." Zara approached the nearest pod, wiping away a thin layer of dust from its surface. Inside, a being with pale skin and dark hair lay in what appeared to be suspended animation. The being was bipedal, with 2 arms, a torso, and a head with facial features arranged in a pattern common to many sentient species throughout the galaxy. "These beings," Tella said, scanning several pods in sequence, "according to our xenobiology database, they appear to be human." The word hung in the air, charged with meaning. Humans were known to the Valtharian Consortium only through ancient records and scattered archaeological findings. According to those records, humans had been a promising species that had achieved faster than light travel several thousand years ago, only to mysteriously vanish from the galactic stage during what historians called the Great Silence. "Impossible," Morven said. "Humans are extinct. They disappeared from the galaxy over 3,000 years ago. Yet the evidence was before them. Thousands of humans, preserved in suspended animation, hidden beneath the surface of an uncharted planet. The pods appear to be designed for long-term preservation," Tella reported, studying her scanner. "Life signs are minimal but stable. These humans are alive, merely sleeping." As the team moved further into the facility, they discovered a central control chamber. The technology was alien to them, but Tella's expertise allowed her to decipher some of its basic functions. "This appears to be a revival protocol," she said, indicating a sequence of symbols on a control panel. "I believe it's designed to awaken the sleepers." Zara considered their options carefully. Awakening an ancient species carried enormous risks and ethical implications, yet the discovery was too significant to ignore. "Activate the revival protocol for a single pod," she instructed. "We need answers." Tella hesitated, then carefully input the commands. Across the chamber, one of the pods began to hum with increased energy. The transparent cover slid open, and the human inside began to stir. The being, female, according to their database, slowly opened her eyes. She blinked several times, adjusting to the light, then focused on the aliens standing before her. To their surprise, she showed no fear, only a deep curiosity. When she spoke, her voice was hoarse from disuse, but the translation matrix in their communication devices quickly adapted to her language. "You found us," she said simply. "After all this time, someone finally found us." The human identified herself as Dr. Elena Reyes, Chief Science Officer of the Human Preservation Project. As she regained her strength, she explained that this facility was one of several built across the galaxy during humanity's final days. "We weren't destroyed," she told them, accepting a nutrient solution that Tella had prepared based on human physiological requirements. "We chose to hide, to preserve what remained of our civilization, until it was safe to return." "Safe from what?" Zara asked. Elena's expression darkened. "From the ones we awakened. the ancient enemy that sleeps between the stars. We called them the Void Heralds. She explained that humanity had been a spacefaring civilization for nearly a millennium, expanding throughout their home system and beyond. In their exploration, they had discovered ruins of an ancient civilization, one that predated all known species by millions of years. We were young, ambitious, curious. Elena continued, her voice heavy with regret. We didn't understand the warnings left in those ruins. We activated technology we didn't comprehend, and in doing so, we sent a signal, a beacon that extended into the dark spaces beyond our galaxy. The signal had awakened something ancient and malevolent, entities that existed partially in normal space and partially in dimensions beyond their comprehension. These Void Heralds had begun systematically hunting down and destroying human colonies. But why hide your entire species? Krell asked. Surely you could have sought allies among other civilizations. Elena's laugh was hollow. We tried. The few species advanced enough to help us were too afraid to intervene. The rest lacked the technology to make a difference, so we made a desperate choice. We would preserve the best of our civilization, hide ourselves away, and wait for the right moment to return. And what would signal that moment? Zora asked. Elena looked directly at her, with eyes that held 3,000 years of patient waiting. The emergence of a species compassionate enough to help us, yet powerful enough to stand against the Void Heralds when they inevitably return. Zara felt the weight of those words settle around her. Their discovery wasn't an accident. It was the fulfillment of an ancient plan, set in motion millennia ago. Captain, Tella interrupted, her voice urgent. I'm detecting energy fluctuations throughout the facility. More pods are beginning to activate. Around them, hundreds of preservation pods were powering up, their occupants stirring from their ancient slumber. The Human Preservation Project was awakening. Elena smiled. It has begun. The return of humanity to the galactic stage. The question is, Captain Zora Vex of the Valtharian Consortium, will you stand with us? The truth unveiled and alliance formed. The operations center of the underground complex hummed with activity as more humans emerged from their long slumber. Captain Zora Vex watched in fascination as these ancient beings, considered mythological by many in the consortium, quickly organized themselves with practiced efficiency. Dr. Elena Rice led Zora and her senior officers to a central holographic platform where three-dimensional images flickered to life, showing star systems, planetary bodies, and what appeared to be migration patterns across the galaxy. This is our story, Elena explained, the history that was erased from galactic records. The hologram displayed Earth, humanity's homeworld, and its early expansion through their solar system. It showed the discovery of faster-than-light travel, the colonization of nearby star systems, and the eventual formation of a loose confederation of human worlds, spanning a significant portion of their galactic arm. We were explorers at heart, Elena said with pride evident in her voice. Always pushing boundaries, always seeking new knowledge. The holographic display shifted to show ancient ruins on a distant world, structures of impossible geometry that seemed to defy known physics. These were the remnants of what Elena called the Forerunners, a civilization that had achieved technological singularity millions of years before any current species had evolved. This was our greatest discovery and our greatest mistake, she continued. Among the ruins, we found technology beyond our comprehension. Data storage systems containing knowledge that should have remained buried. According to Elena, human scientists had activated one of these systems, unknowingly broadcasting a signal into the void between galaxies. Within months, the first Void Herald vessels had appeared at the edges of human space, massive organic structures that defied classification as either ships or living entities. They moved through space using principles we couldn't understand, Elena explained. They could appear without warning, devastate entire worlds, and vanish before our defenses could respond. The hologram showed the systematic destruction of human colonies, billions of lives lost as world after world fell to these incomprehensible invaders. Humanity had fought back with increasingly desperate measures, but their technology was simply too primitive to counter the threat. We realized we couldn't win. Not then, Elena said. So we devised the preservation protocol. We would place our best and brightest in stasis, hide our facilities on worlds specifically chosen to be overlooked, and wait for the right moment to return. And what makes now the right moment? Krell asked, his skin flickering between colors of doubt and curiosity. Elena gestured to the Valtharians. You do. Your discovery of our facility wasn't random chance. The entrance was genetically keyed to recognize species with compatible ethical structures and technological capabilities. Science Officer Tella looked up from her scanner. That's why Security Chief Morven was able to activate the entrance. His genetic structure must have matched your criteria. Elena nodded. The preservation pods were programmed to begin revival sequences when contacted by a species with both the compassion to help us and the technological capacity to stand against the Void Heralds. You believe these Void Heralds still exist? Zara asked. We know they do, came a new voice. A tall, white-haired human male approached, his movements deliberate despite having just emerged from 3 millennia of suspended animation. He introduced himself as Admiral Marcus Chen, former Supreme Commander of the Human Defense Fleet. The Void Heralds exist in a state of semi-dormancy, he explained. They return to active hunting approximately every 5,000 years. According to our calculations, they're due to reawaken within the next century. The implications were staggering. If these beings had nearly wiped out humanity at the height of their civilization, what chance would the current galactic powers have against them? Admiral Chen seemed to read Zora's thoughts. We didn't spend 3,000 years merely sleeping, Captain. Our consciousness was partially active, running simulations, developing new theories and technologies. And before we entered stasis, we hid weapons caches and research facilities throughout the galaxy. You're saying you have weapons that could defeat these entities? Morven asked, professional interest evident in his posture. Not yet, Chen admitted. But we have the foundations of such weapons, and with your help, we can complete them before the Heralds return. Over the next several days, more humans awakened, and the full scale of their preservation project became clear. This facility held over 10,000 individuals, scientists, engineers, military personnel, and cultural specialists chosen to represent the best of human knowledge and capability. The Valtharian crew contacted their homeworld, reporting their extraordinary discovery. The response was immediate. The Consortium Council authorized full diplomatic engagement with the resurgent human species, while politicians and diplomats from both species worked to establish formal relations. Zara, Elena, and a joint team of human and Valtharian scientists focused on a more urgent matter, activating the facility's defense systems. According to Elena, each preservation site contained powerful technologies designed to repel Void Herald incursions, giving the awakened humans time to prepare for the larger conflict. Deep within the facility lay the Central Defense Hub, a massive chamber housing what the humans called the Void Lens, a device that could detect disturbances in space-time created by approaching Void Heralds. The theory is sound, Elena explained as they worked to bring the ancient systems online, but we never had time to fully implement it before we entered stasis. The power requirements alone were beyond our capabilities then. Our quantum cascade reactors might provide sufficient energy, Tella suggested, already calculating the necessary configurations. For 3 days, the joint team worked tirelessly, combining human theoretical knowledge with Valtharian practical engineering. The synergy between the two species was remarkable. Where humans brought intuitive leaps and unconventional approaches, the Valtharians contributed methodical precision and advanced material science. On the 4th day, as they prepared for the first activation test, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. Proximity alert, Chen announced, rushing to a control panel. Something's entered the system. The sensor displays showed a distortion appearing at the edge of the solar system, a ripple in space that defied normal physics. From within this distortion emerged a vessel unlike anything the Valtharians had ever seen, an asymmetrical structure that seemed to shift and pulse as if alive. "Void Herald scout vessel," Chen said grimly. "They must have detected the energy surge from our activation attempts." Zara immediately contacted her ship, ordering battle stations and preparation for potential evacuation. But Alina and Chen exchanged knowing glances. "It's too soon," Alina said. "The defense system isn't ready. We needed more time." "We don't have more time," Chen replied. He turned to Zara. "Captain, we need to evacuate as many of our people as possible. Your vessel can't possibly transport 10,000 humans." Zara finished for him. "But we can buy you time." Before Chen could protest, Zora had already given the order. The celestial pathfinder moved into position, its defensive systems no match for a Void Herald vessel, but capable of creating a distraction. As the Valtharian ship engaged the intruder, Alina made a desperate decision. "We have one option left: the emergency activation protocol. The system isn't stable," Tella warned. "The power matrix hasn't been properly calibrated." "It's our only chance," Alina insisted. She turned to Chen. "Admiral, give the authorization." Chen hesitated for only a moment before nodding. "Authorization given. Activate the void lens." Alina input a complex sequence of commands, and the massive device at the center of the chamber began to hum with power. Light coursed through previously dormant conduits, and the air itself seemed to thicken as energies beyond conventional understanding were channeled through ancient machinery. Above them, the celestial pathfinder was taking heavy damage. Zara received reports of multiple hull breaches and failing shields. The Void Herald vessel was systematically dismantling her ship, showing a cold efficiency that spoke of intelligence beyond their comprehension. Just as the situation seemed hopeless, the void lens reached full power. A beam of concentrated energy shot upward from the facility, piercing through rock and soil to reach the open sky. It struck the Void Herald vessel with unerring precision. The effect was immediate and devastating. The alien vessel didn't explode or break apart. It simply ceased to exist, collapsing in on itself as if the very fabric of reality had rejected its presence. In the sudden silence that followed, Alina stared at the sensor readings in disbelief. It worked. It actually worked. "What exactly did it do?" Zara asked, equally stunned. "The void lens doesn't destroy them conventionally," Chen explained. "It severs their connection to the dimensions beyond our own, the source of their power. Without that connection, they can't maintain cohesion in our reality." The immediate threat was neutralized, but the implications were clear. The Void Heralds now knew the location of at least one human preservation facility. The awakening of humanity would have to accelerate. In the days that followed, a formal alliance was established between the human survivors and the Valtharian consortium. Other preservation facilities were located and contacted, revealing that humanity had hidden nearly 1 million individuals throughout the galaxy. As representatives from other consortium species arrived to meet these legendary humans, Zara found Alina standing alone, watching the stars through an observation port. "Are you concerned about the future?" Zara asked, joining her. Alina smiled. "Concerned, yes, but also hopeful. For 3,000 years, we slept and dreamed of a day when we might return to the stars. We hoped to find allies, species who would stand with us against the darkness." She turned to face Zara, extending a hand in the human gesture of partnership. "It seems we found exactly what we were looking for." Zara mimicked the gesture, her 4-fingered hand clasping Alina's 5-fingered one. It was a symbolic moment. Two species separated by biology, history, and time, united by a common purpose. "The Void Heralds will return in force," Alina said. "They'll sense the activation of our defenses, and they'll come to finish what they started millennia ago. And they'll find not just humanity waiting for them," Zara replied, "but a united galaxy prepared to fight for its future." As news of the alliance spread throughout the consortium, other species pledged their support. Ancient human technologies were recovered from hidden caches, combined with modern advancements, and repurposed for the coming conflict. The discovery of the lost human colony had indeed changed everything, transforming a galaxy of disparate civilizations into a unified force prepared to face the greatest threat to their collective existence. And at the center of this new alliance stood the unlikely partnership between a species thought long extinct and the explorers who had found them sleeping beneath an uncharted world. The end of one story had become the beginning of another, one that would reshape the destiny of the galaxy forever.